guys! So today we're going to talk about what books I'm going to get through hopefully within the next 2 weeks. I tend to read really fast as it is, and some of these are really quick reads anyway. So all 5 of, well, there are, I believe, 5 books in this stack of mine, 4 of which I got from the library and 1 of which is my book of the month for the month. Unlike last month, I am not doing any themes, just because, while I could do fantasy adventure forever and read nothing else, I don't think I could do one type of book of any other genre for a month straight and not want to cry. I love fantasy so much that it's really hard. It's not hard to read other books, but it's hard to read other books consistently, if that makes any sense. But we have a good mix of contemporary fiction and, well, I say good mix. I think 2 of these are contemporary, and then the other 3 are either sci-fi or fantasy or mythology, which I kind of tend to include in fantasy. So here we go. The first one is When Katy Met Cassidy, which is my book of the month book. It is about a woman who's recently broken up with by her fiance and ends up meeting this girl named Cassidy, and they end up falling in love. And it's a story of how a girl discovers her true identity, both sexually and romantically, and I personally really think that's awesome, and I'm really excited to read that. I have not read any of the reviews, which, if you know anything about my reading style, is really rare for me, but it sounded adorable, and I wanted just a lighthearted read this month because all of the books I've been reading lately have been super tragic, or super sad, or some combination of both, and I am just like, can I please just have something cute and fluffy and who knows, maybe even slightly romantic, which is really rare for me because usually I'm all about the dark and depressing, but I don't know, last month's round some of them were like, oh my god. Moving on, the next one these aren't in any particular order, but the next one on my list is Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. I have been watching a lot of God of War 4 playthroughs because that game is really pretty, and I just really like Kratos, and it is, boy, if you have any knowledge of the game, you'll understand where the boy comes from. So this one, I wanted to know more about Norse mythology, and this one's actually been on my to-read list for quite a while. The God of War playthroughs finally just kind of won me over, and I'm like, fine, I will read through it. Plus, it's all about Loki and Thor for the most part, and even though I know it's not the Marvel versions of them, I still really like Thor and Loki as it is, so it'll be fun to learn more about their mythology. Similar in nature to God of War and Norse mythology, I picked up Sky and the Deep, which came out a couple weeks ago, I believe, and I was really attracted to the cover and the summary. It's about a girl in a Nordic tribe who watches her brother get killed, and then she gets kidnapped by an enemy tribe and was forced into slavery, which, as she was once royalty, is really humiliating for her. And then she discovers that her brother is actually part of this other tribe, and it's just like, what? And then a third tribe, which is an enemy of both of the other tribes, comes in, and a bunch of shenanigans happen, and I'm really excited to read it and find out about what's going to happen with that. The next book is Gemini, the second book in the Illumini files. I just recently read Illumini. It was fantastic. I love how it is told in like email, IM, and like overall actual files instead of just a story format. I think that's really cool. It's about a boy and a girl whose planet was attacked by this evil biotech company, and then the evil biotech company pursues them through outer space, and then there's an AI that tries to save everybody by destroying everybody, and I don't know, I just have really been digging this whole evil AI trying to do good thing. Like, I read Thunderhead by Neil Shusterman a couple weeks ago, and the whole idea was just really cool, even though it's kind of overdone. But this book series has been really good so far. I love the main characters. They're just so quirky and so sarcastic, and they just make me really happy. And even though it does have a lot of zombies, or the first one had like space zombies basically in it, and I'm not a huge fan of zombies, I did really like this book. It was really creepy, and it sort of reminded me of Firefly in a very, very tiny regard, and I love Firefly. So yeah, I am really looking forward to reading this one. Even though it's huge, it shouldn't take me too long to read it, just because the last one was like over 600 pages and I finished it in less than a day. So we'll see. So stay tuned on that one. And then the sixth and final book I picked up from the library is Beartown by Frederick Backman. This is one of the only Frederick Backman books I have not read, just because his other ones, while they are sometimes sad, for the most part they're really like lighthearted, I want to say. This one I know is going to be very dark. I read the first chapter, which is basically 2 paragraphs, and it's about one person shooting the other in the face. So right away you get the feeling that it's not going to be a happy book. And I've been kind of steering away from it because, like I said, I read a lot of sad books, but the sequel of this is coming out, I think, within the next couple months, and so I finally decided might as well go ahead and give it a shot. I got the large print version, just because it was the only copy they had available, and I have kind of terrible eyesight sometimes, especially when I read too much, so larger print books are actually better for me. That's one of the reasons why I like my Kindle so much, because I can make the font super, super huge and basically read like an old person, and it's fantastic, so I don't have to go looking for my reading glasses. But long story short, I mostly got it just because it was the only option they had. But I don't know what I was going to say next. But I'm really excited to read Beartown. Yes, it's going to be sad and depressing, but apparently it does have a meaningful ending, and it's not just sad and depressing to be sad and depressing sort of deal. So I'm really, really excited about that. Plus, Frederick Backman is an incredibly good author. If you have not read any of his books, you really should. A Man Called Ove, or Uwe, or however you want to say it is phenomenal. It will make you cry, it will make you laugh, and it will just leave you with a warm, fuzzy feeling. Plus the cat in that book, it makes the whole book. So you'll have to read it now just to know what I'm talking about with that. Alright, anyway, that about does it for my first half of my June to read list. I will update you guys as I go along as far as how many of these I get through and what the next set is going to be. I figured this is probably going to be the easiest way to do this instead of going through like 20 books at once. We'll just do 4 or 5 at a time and go from there, or 6 in this case. So I hope you all have a wonderful day. Feel free to comment below and tell me what books you're reading or interested in reading, or which ones that you would like to hear more about from my pile that I have, because I will happily talk about books all day long. In the meantime, feel free to comment or subscribe or like or whatever floats your boat, and I will see you all later.